Last week, I raced Sears and All, and it was without a doubt the hardest race of my life. But it's time for me to bounce back, and just 7 days later, I'm lining up for Tatra Skymarathon, a 30-kilometer trail race with over 6,000 feet of vertical gain through the Tatra Mountains, and this time, it's in the pouring rain. After Sears and All, I drove to Locarno, Switzerland with the rest of the Golden Trail crew because we still had a week until our next race and we wanted to use that time to check out the finals course. We're on a trail, it's in the shade. It's nice to not be in the sauna anymore, but I think we're about to re-enter sauna land.
Sauna land ahead.
AKA Switzerland. Checking out the course was great, but the state of my quads, it was absolutely dismal after Sears and All. Nevertheless, it was a good couple days and really fun to meet everyone. The next stop on the trip was Zakopane, Poland, where Tatra Skymarathon would be, and since there was a week between races, I wanted to get in a little bit of a workout this week, so I did a warm-up and then changed into my flats before heading out to do a fartlek style workout. Just finished my workout. There is nowhere here that's flat to run, so I was supposed to do 12 by 1 minute flat, but I ended up doing 12 by 1 minute hills because flat doesn't exist. Went pretty well. Still stinging from the race, like physically and mentally and emotionally, but good to get a workout in, spin the legs a bit. During this time, we were staying at the Polish Olympic Training Center, which was amazing, but I also took some time to go and explore the local area a little bit. 2 days out from the race, I actually went on the treadmill because my quads just couldn't take any downhill. Later in the day, I went outside to get some fresh air and do some mobility, and you might notice that some of the clips in my recent videos have looked super cool and elevated. And the reason for that is because I have been using the Hover Air X1, which is a small, pocket-sized, self-flying camera that makes capturing my moments so easy. With palm takeoff and landing and on-device buttons, no remote controller is needed, which is perfect because I've always been averse to using a drone because I didn't want it to take away from my ability to run. But with this, it's so little effort and I'm able to get amazing clips that are stabilized and at unique angles. The Hover Air X1 also has multiple flying modes for whatever kind of shots you need. It's also easy to customize the mode settings within the Hover app to suit your unique needs or whatever activity that you are doing that day. The app also provides a seamless downloading and sharing experience. I have been on a little bit of a solo travel mission in Europe, and the Hover makes it possible for me to get clips of myself even when there's no one around to film me. And it doesn't matter if I'm doing mobility or strides or hitting a track workout, the Hover has modes for everything I want, and I especially love the follow mode because it can go 15 miles per hour behind me while I run. And it's small enough for me to take it with me wherever I go. It makes it so easy to get amazing shots, and it lands right in the palm of my hand. I mean, what's not to love? You fold it up, put it in your pocket, good to go. If you'd like to try the Hover Air X1, check out the link in my description, and thank you Hover for sponsoring this video. The day before the race, I definitely felt nervous, but I also just felt weird because I'd spent the entire week trying to convince myself that I wanted to race and that it was something I wanted to pursue, which is weird for me because I usually am very intrinsically motivated to want to race, but it's just been really hard coming off of Sears and All. I was severely impacted by my poor performance, both mentally, physically, emotionally, all of the above, and then being in an unfamiliar environment and trying to bounce back from it was really tough, but I was doing everything I could to prepare for the race and to get myself ready to stand on that line feeling good. About 30 minutes before the race started, it began raining, and then after the race started, it literally immediately poured rain so hard. This was the most aggressive rain I have ever experienced in my life, so I apologize for the clips looking a little fuzzy. It's not bad camera quality, it's just such thick density of rainfall. But anyways, the first 11K of this race were kind of flat. There was one small climb in there, and there was some single track and old farm roads, but it was really a fun part of the course. So I was enjoying myself a lot. I was also trying to measure my effort carefully and not go out too hard. So I was paying attention to where my heart rate was at, trying to go off feel, but also going a little bit off of that. I was already feeling a lot more confident about this race as opposed to Sierras and all. However, back at the start finish line, the conditions were worsening to the point where they actually didn't start the men's race, and they were worried about the safety of the course. We were approaching aid station 2, which is the point in this race right before the big climb begins, and when we got there, they actually stopped us. So the race was canceled after 11 kilometers in, or a little over 7 miles. We got to an aid station and they told us to stop and wait 30 minutes. They might restart the race because the conditions were dangerous on the mountain due to the thunder, lightning, rain, and the exposed sections and rock that were on the course later in the race. So they stopped us and put us in a little hut, gave us some tea, and said we'll just wait and see. But they ultimately ended up canceling the race completely, so no one got any points for the Golden Trail Series from Tatra Skymarathon. Originally in the series, there are 8 regular season races and you can score 4 of them, but now they've changed that to 3 since some people were counting on this race to score and weren't able to have it. It's a bummer because now Sierras and all will weigh more heavily in my final score, and that was obviously a rough race for me. And also this race was actually going pretty well, and I feel like I learned from Sierras and all, and I went out a lot more conservative and was really keeping my heart rate in check in a good place, making sure I was just below threshold heading into that big climb. I felt like I had the legs for it and I was really excited. But of course, it's easy to say that when I didn't have to finish the rest of the race, so you never know what would have happened, but I feel like it definitely was gonna go better than Sierras and all, so I personally am really bummed. I was sitting in 11th place in a pack from 8 to 11 when we got to this aid station, and we were just about to start the big climb. I felt like I was in a fun spot to like be racing people, feeling competitive. But yeah, didn't really get the opportunity to do that, but I do think it was a step in the right direction as far as my confidence goes. It was a little bit of a bounce back from Sierras and all, not a full-on re-initiation of my confidence in myself, but it was something to make me feel like, okay, I actually am athletic, I can run. So that's good. And now it's just time to look towards the next 2 Golden Trail races, which are both in California, Headlands and Mammoth, which are gonna be really important for me now if I wanna qualify to the finals. Time to get down to business, get back to training. But before that, a shout out to the race organizers of Tatra. The atmosphere and hospitality were unmatched. And that's all for now, folks.